Why is Waifu and Devilman up? Well, because I'm making a video chat. You ever heard of a video? Anyway, speaking of a video, this will probably get clipped and be one of our new and improved little stream cutouts that we put on the second channel to try and advertise stream more. Oh my god, why is Heavenly Delusion still on chapter 2? Why is Bucket List of the Devil? That's not what it was called. That was the name of the fucking chapter anyway, and it's not devil, it's of zombies. I'm getting confused because Devilman's right here, but we don't need to speak about that. Anyway, this is all staying in the upload that's going to be on the secondary ENT channel, a new little stream highlight thing we're doing. This is what, remember chat, we used to do this. You have to say hello to YouTube. Is chat even on screen? I think it is, right? I haven't done this in a little while. I did a thing. Wait, do I have the Excel spreadsheet up? We got an Excel spreadsheet. We spent a stream kind of making this, where we were like, what are we going to consume? And then we've got a bunch of bullshit here. And look, I already consumed 2 movies. Can you believe that? Check Twitter to get updated on the media checklist thread thingy. But anyway, we had a bunch of manga, a bunch of anime, a bunch of TV shows. And by a bunch, I actually don't mean that many. We got a lot of movies over here. A lot of video games. You love video games. Maybe we could do what we're about to do for these 3. That might actually be fun. Anyway, we had a bunch of manga, and manga's easy to read and stuff. It's short and stuff, so I was like, fuck it. Let's just read 3 of them. The 3 that I'm most interested in and are easiest to read, and are also current, or still going. And let's read the first chapter, and we'll report back to stream, and we'll discuss them and see where we want to go from here. There were no preset rules. I told chat to read along if they wanted to. Heath is telling YouTube to kill itself. That's pretty cool. Heaven exists, YouTube viewers. CeeLo Pilder's talking about heaven as in the Twitch chat. Anyway, so the 3 we selected were the 3 at the bottom here. We got Dandadan. I think that's how you say it. Dandadan. Shut up. We got Zombie 100. And we got Heavenly Delusion. And these are the 3 we've read the first chapter of. I literally did it like in the last 2 hours or so, because of course they left it to the last minute. And now we're here to talk about them and where we're going to go for here, etc. If we want to do it about Legend of the Galactic Heroes, the vision of Escaflowne and Gungrave, we could do it and do a very similar thing. Though, I don't know if I'm going to have the time. Now, we'll get into all that in a second. We can get rid of this. So I did read them in this order. So I read Dandadan first, then Heavenly Delusion, then Zombie 100. What do I do? Do I just spoil which one I liked best? Do we go through each of them individually? We're doing all this on the fly. These 2 are anime already, and this one's got a trailer out, so that's also helpful. Oh, the reason why I wanted to do current ones is because making theory videos is the only way to truly be happy in life. Remember when I made the Jaeger Master Plan video? That shit was fucking sick. I loved that. Only theory video I ever got to make, sadly. So if we catch up on these series, we can maybe make theory videos. Though, I think only the second one could maybe be... that could maybe be applicable to, because it doesn't seem like Zombie 100 nor Dandadan are going to be very mystery focused. Chainsaw Man's don't got no mysteries, or it kind of does, but you can just speculate in the wind. It's not like Attack on Titan where they're leaving you things for you to try and figure out, or One Piece where you got to make up their fucking thingies. Maybe Heavenly Delusion is like that. I don't know if it's actually a mystery series. There seems to be some mystery setup here, but it also seems to be pretty hell-bent on answering them. I will say, Dandadan and Zombie 100's first chapters, both of their first chapters, felt like pilots, like actual stories, like self-contained kind of stories you can get something from. Poor Heavenly Delusions felt like a very brief introduction and then a cliffhanger for the next chapter. So if we were to say which one we enjoyed the most, it's definitely between Dandadan and Zombie 100, and Heavenly Delusion is here. But Heavenly Delusion was definitely still interesting. It's just not a lot, like it's very clearly set up, whereas these 2 have sort of self-contained narratives. Zombie 100 more than I was expecting. But I think we will go in order and then we'll talk about it, because I kind of just talked about which one I like the best. I don't fucking know. Dandadan here is by this bloke, Yukinobu Tatsu. Now, if my YouTube lingo and rumor and innuendo is correct, this dude is like Fujimoto's assistant or something. And this story, I remember seeing, I don't know if I saw it in a Super iPatch Wolf video or a Mother's Basement video or in some other fucking idiot's video. I'm pretty sure I've watched videos specifically about Dandadan. Maybe it was a Trixie video. I can't fucking remember these goddamn things. And it was sort of sold like that. And the premise, as it was explained, was like, oh, this one dude and this one girl, they get into an argument about whether or not aliens or spirits are cooler. And then they all just seemingly start to exist. And then they have fights and stuff and fight bad guys, etc. And hilarity ensues. And I think there was an example of a joke. And I was like, oh, yeah, that does seem like Chainsaw Man. So I did go in thinking, oh, this is going to be like Chainsaw Man Light or something to the equivalent. And it's going to be sort of have that similar sort of appeal. I will say that exists very lightly, but that is very evidently not the appeal this show will have. And if you go into that, you might be a little disappointed. Because Chainsaw Man's appeal, chat. Now, there will be a scripted video about this. Hopefully out in like the next month or so. Where I delve ridiculously deep into what the appeal of Chainsaw Man. And it's a very unique appeal and why Chainsaw Man and Fire Punch are just the greatest things ever. I don't think Dandadan is the greatest thing ever. I knew Chainsaw Man was like incredibly unique and great from like the first page, I usually say. I think there's even a part of the video where I explain that. So from the first page about Denji talking about the balls he had to ration and the way he does it and the attitude he has in doing it, etc., etc. It's so fucking cool, and you're so in on Denji immediately, and then the wacky concepts and the weird subversions of basically everything. It's all great. I audibly laughed reading the Dandadan chapter. Sadly, it wasn't a sex joke. I think I know where you're going with that one, CeeLo Pilled. Now, CeeLo Pilled it might be the only person in chat that was ballsy enough to actually read along with me. I think, CeeLo Pilled, if we can engage in one-on-one conversation here, these are just the perks you get if you show up in Twitch chat. Which ones I think you said you had seen one of, or maybe you've seen the anime for these two or something. So I want to know which ones you read for the first time today and your history with the series. And then also you could say what you thought about them, etc. Dandadan was interesting, though. I still liked it. It just has a very different appeal and a very more, like, sort of generic manga-y appeal. I would not call it generic, though. And the way that video had sold it to me about, like, oh, I expected it to open on these two in an argument. Bitch, aliens are sick. And she goes, fuck you, loser. Spirits are sick. And then literally the world changes forever because they're having an argument, boom, everything just exists in the sky and aliens and spirits are fighting each other and craziness ensues. I remember that kind of being how it was presented in the video I watched. And that would be very Chainsaw Man-y, for the world to just crack into and change forever because two kids were having an argument about whether or not dumb ghosts or dumb aliens are cooler. It's not really how things are presented here at all. And also, I did, like, when I opened all these tabs, I did scroll through and read, like, all the headings and shit. So I did see these. And these are kind of wacky out there, which is not just the appeal of Chainsaw Man, but it's a lot of the part of the appeal of Chainsaw Man. These chapter titles are a little wacky, so I was like, oh, maybe we are going it. And then I did see this first page, and I thought, oh, that's kind of wacky and cute. But we've got our girl here. Now, I have no fucking idea how to say her name. It's like Maysay or something. Crazy. I'm not going to be able to say names, chat. You already know this about me. I read chapter 1 years ago when it came out. He just sang about Dandadan, I think. No, I hadn't read any of them before. Like an hour ago, I think the one I'm most curious about is how Dandadan will continue, I guess, though. It's a bit unfair because the other two were shorter, right? Yeah, I feel like Dandadan was probably the longest one. We could literally check this by checking the page counts, but I don't really care enough to, so... But it definitely did feel... Heavenly Delusion felt the shortest, definitely. But obviously, I think Dandadan is in Shonen Jump, right? So the chapters are going to get very short, whereas the other two are both monthly publications. So their chapters will generally be longer, but we'll see about all that as we progress. So this girl likes this. This is a boyfriend. She's breaking up for him, and he's talking about putting out and stuff. So that's a little off-putting for a Shonen Jump thing, because I expected this to be the most PG out of them all. I guess it ended up being. We see boobs in this one. I guess Heavenly Delusion is definitely the most PG one. Nothing's happened there yet. I will say I really didn't know anything about Zombie 100. I kind of knew there was a girl and he worked in an office, and I've seen a bunch of YouTube videos about how Zombie 100 is about how capitalism is bad because he works in an office and he hates it and he's excited that the zombies happen. So I kind of knew that. Heavenly Delusion, I've kind of seen a YouTube video about it, but it was after this point where these two are outside and doing things, and there's some sort of sexual assault with this one. Sexual assault, a narrative through line throughout all of these mangas. We sure know how to choose them. But anyway, it's on Shonen Jump Plus. Same shit. Though Zombie 100 is interesting too because I can't see how an entire manga can stem from that first chapter. It is very interesting. We will talk about that when we get it. Anyway, I don't know. The best guy ever situation has me a little scared about going through manga chapters just generally. Anyway, the girl is very cool. The setup here is kind of funny and wacky. And then she just has friends that look weird that will obviously fit in when we start getting more weird with the zombies and the aliens, and maybe or not the zombies, the spirits and the aliens and shit. So it was kind of funny that their character designs were already like this, and we'll just see how that progresses. Anyway, the girl is very endearing. I like the girl character a lot, the main girl. And I thought I was going to be annoyed with this nerdy boy. Oh, I've seen this character before, and I never liked this archetype. But he kind of had some redemptive things towards the end. I do think the biggest emotional moment out of all of these, there is a Zombie 100 moment that rivals it, but the ending of this chapter is really great when the little kid's name is actually the name of the celebrity dude she's like lusting after, and she's like, what? And just after he said like a line from one of his movies, I assume, it was very cool. I did think that was a neat little twist. That's a little bit of a sort of out there Chainsaw Man-y, well, it's a very fire punchy thing to do. Where you're immediately like, is this some narrative fuckery where this is actually the actor from the past brought to the future or something? That could be a funny little narrative through line to go down. Or it's just a coincidence and that's part of the point and she's reading into it too much. But I assume these two, because immediately we open on the girl getting broken up with and she's like, man, I'm just never going to find love. And then we're introduced to clearly the boy who isn't her type at all, who's the little nerdy dude getting bullied, and who becomes the secondary main character, and who you assume is this guy from up here, even though he looks a little different with his hair and stuff, though she looks a little different too. And you're like, oh, they're going to end up together. So it is funny if it is just a coincidence and she reads too much into it, but it ends up working out in the end. Their interactions were fun, so these two can definitely carry a manga. President Obama here with the aliens and the Illuminati and shit is funny. I don't know if President Obama canonically is still the president in the world of Dandadan. That's pretty funny. He looks pretty old here. It looks like an alternative universe or something. Maybe he went for a fourth term. Oh, it's actually a third term. Shut up, chat. And we got space forces, etc. But anyway, their interactions are cool. They end up sending each other to locations because they get into an argument about whether or not spirits or aliens exist, and the other one thinks the other one's crazy, and they end up existing. Like, there's a granny here who wants to eat this guy's dick. Literally, she says schlong a bunch. It's pretty funny, chat. And so he's got to run away, and then he gets taken over, and then there's these Peter Griffin-looking fucking alien things that look very creepy, and then they rip her clothes off. There's no nudity in this one, but we literally get a cask scene, the hands over the mouth, and you're like, this isn't good. This cool panel where we got them and they're forming over the thingies and stuff. And then there is an attempted rape in the first chapter by their little banana penises here. Or they call them bananas a lot. So it is very weird that this sexual assault that we are supposed to take a little seriously is also juxtaposed by them calling it their bananas and stuff constantly, and it's a bit weird tonally, and if I was half the feminist my Twitter bio purports for me to be, I would be disgusted with this chapter. To the point where I'll be very curious what the reaction to this is in episode 1 if it comes out, or if they have to censor it, or if they change it or something, or if like I feel like it will get torn to shreds on like Twitter and on AniTube and shit like that. Now, it does sort of redeem itself in the feminist eye because she doesn't end up getting saved by this dude. She manifests her psychic powers and then busts out herself and kicks him through a UFO and shit. But there's a lot of funny sex jokes in here about schlongs and I'm going to save my virginity for this guy and you're not going to take it from me, rape penis man. So that was interesting. I certainly didn't expect the rape fake out, the first rape fake out, to be from Dandadan, but there it was, and it was. I don't know what else to say about Dandadan. I think it's interesting. Just the general, like, oh, spirits exist and aliens exist lends itself to a million possibilities down the line. They both seem to have spirit-related powers rather than alien-related powers, so that's interesting. Another really cool thing is when the dude over here shows up to save her from the rape, from like teleporting to his phone. That was pretty cool. That seemed like a cool Chainsaw Man-esque concept. The monster designs for the aliens were pretty cool when they were just these weird Peter Griffin things, and they had a bit of lore where they just clone each other instead of reproducing, and that's why they want females. And they're also like, we just like females better than male persons. So that's a little weird. Sounds like something I would say. But this one also ends on a cliffhanger. Apparently, our boy's dick is missing right now, and we've got to go and save it back from the spirit, because we beat the aliens this episode, but we didn't beat the spirits. So the second chapter is going to be about us beating the spirits. Now, honestly, I'm more curious about what happens after that. Obviously, we got his penis back, etc. But then what is the setup for the rest of the series, and who are we trying to beat up? So Turbo Granny is still around in Chapter 5, so that's crazy. Also, Turbo Granny was a bit of a Chainsaw Man name too. You're like, oh, Fujimoto could say some crazy shit like that. But yeah, these chapters seem to be relatively... The next one seems to be a little long too. I am more interested in seeing how the fuck this turns into a full manga. Obviously, we've got the, oh, when are they going to kiss? That's a propelling interest, moving everything forward. We don't really know the stakes in the world, etc. yet, so we don't know too much about Dandadan. Look, oh, I guess he's going to keep his little form in the back because it's over here. I will say the character design for the girl is pretty cool, and her earrings and stuff. Oh my god, they're alien earrings. Crazy. Maybe it is some celestial alien psycho powers. Oh my god, now they're ghosts. That's crazy. Who would have thought? Who could have told? But yeah. This page and the next one that made me laugh. Okay, we got CeeLo Pill coming in with evidence about what made him laugh out loud. Now, I don't know if this is a good laugh out loud or this is so stupid I laughed out loud. Did it open? Oh, yeah. Don't talk to me. Sorry, I went too far. Oh, yeah, when they say, sorry, I went too far, and then he starts insulting her. That was kind of funny. Hold on, I'm reading chat. Oh, yeah, and then he's trying to argue her arguments are no good. But yeah, that one was pretty good. There was something I thought was funny too, but I can't remember which one it was in. I remember saying, oh, I should note down that I laughed at that. Hey, taking notes for these things would be a good idea, huh? But I'm too lazy. The sex jokes in Chainsaw Man are more endearing. That's definitely true. And I feel like we've never had an attempted rape in Chainsaw Man, right? Because obviously attempted rape is the easiest way in the world besides beating up a fucking dog or something to get, like, to build dramatic tension. Like, very dramatic tension. If you'd be like, no, don't do that. Somebody save him. And then somebody did, attempted save distraction. Then she saved herself, chat. But yeah, it was definitely, even like afterwards, they were making jokes. Oh no, my penis, my banana thingy fell off. This is crazy. And it's like a bit of a tonal clash is what people will say. I don't know. But I guess that was Dandadan. Do I want to keep reading? Yeah. And then we've got Heavenly Delusion. Oh, Heavenly Delusion over here, giving me some big, and I bet everybody says this, chat, so you better get ready for some revolutionary, you know what I'm trying to say, commentary here. Bit of a Promised Neverland vibe going on here. Oh my god, the kids, they're doing tests, they're in a little enclosed environment, there's walls and stuff, they're trying to figure out what's on outside, and it's going to be some sort of apocalypse thing, as is teased at the end. Oh my god, nobody's ever said that before, chat. Pat me on the back. I think the art style here feels very pencil-y. I don't know how to describe it outside of that, but I like it. It was very easy to read. All the text bubbles and shit were very, like, plain and easy, and everything is sort of, like, just in its little lane here, and all the paneling's very like normal and stuff. We started to try and introduce which character archetypes the characters are. We've got the artsy one, and this girl's into him. And then we've got the smart one that thinks too much. And then we've got the main boring one who's not good at anything, but we're going to like him the most because we're positioned behind him. We've got the really sporty athletic one. And the other one of them's good with computers. We got all this set up. And then we got this dude is getting the serial experiments lane, like, oh, a weird thingy popped up on his thing, and then he's going to ask about it. But, oh, it disappeared. What's going to happen here? But yeah, I will say none of the characters really stood out. Like, again, they're all kind of little archetypey things. None of them annoyed me. I saw this sporty prick and I was like, oh, here we go. This is like the tall kid from Promised Neverland. He's going to piss me off for no real reason, but I'm going to be pissed off. Especially when he's like, man, it's a test today. But in the end, I thought he was okay. I don't hate him. But yeah. They're like, what's outside of outside? And then they asked the person, and I was like, oh no, this means it's time to die or something. And this is where the twist is going to happen, that this is crazy. Now, this bitch has got a crazy evil face that's going to be very easy to make evil, so she's definitely going to be evil. Or maybe this version is she won't be evil. Now, that would be crazy. But she's kind of honest. He's like, you can't go out there. It's hell outside. And from what we see, it seems like there is an apocalypse outside. And then she's like, oh, I have dreams of stuff. I did like the simple repetition. The simplistic like dialogue really did help get the do you want to go outside thing like over. Like I was like, oh, this is creepy. And it shows up a bunch of times. So it's like, oh, who's asking? And yeah, we want to go outside because we're curious. But like, should we stay inside? Is it crazy? Or is it a situation where the outside isn't actually that bad? And we all want to go out there and it's hell out there, man. What's that mean? Are we being overdramatic, or did that person just have a bad experience and they're keeping these fucking kids in here, etc.? There's a little robot guy giving him tests. What the fuck's up with that? But yeah, and then there's this creepy thing of like people come in to save me, and one of them's got your face, bro, and then he can't go to sleep, and then we cut to the outside, and it looks like there's a version of him on the outside, and there's somebody else over here, and this is the guy from the thingy up the top, so that's a little crazy. What's going on there? Are there two of these people? Are they brothers, or what's going on? And he's going to go in and, oh, they're probably brothers, huh? So this guy's going to go in and save this guy. But also, it seems like this guy is the actual protagonist. So it would make sense if this guy who's been set up to be the protagonist here is actually the same guy, so then we weren't wasting time. I feel like this girl is going to get kidnapped or something, and we're not going to see her for like 200 chapters, and then we're going to be reunited with her, and we're going to be like, oh, that's the girl from the beginning, so I've been anticipating this the whole time, so this feels good, even though she's not much of a character. Just like Hijinks and stuff. Talking so fast and being so smart makes me need a drink shot. What can I say? Promise Neverland, Silo Pill does with an exclamation mark. He knows what I'm talking about. Do you find the story archetype to be boring? No, because it's a mystery, so I automatically love it. That being said, I did only watch the first season of Promised Neverland. Now, obviously, the second season came out and everybody was like, it's shit, bro. So I didn't bother. But that was not, I guess I wasn't curious enough to find out what was going on in the Promised Neverland. So it doesn't have too much of a grip on me. Bro, there's a kid in a wheelchair. We didn't really meet him. How are we going to get him out of here when we all escape like the Promised Neverland? But yeah, it's like a weird little thingy, and you see the pole here, and it's like weird, and you're like, what is that? Why is there a pole here? And then you start to realize, because we don't see like a wide shot of everything, that it's like and they do well of like covering up and not doing a wide shot. You're like, what the fuck are these people in here? They're in a little dome thingy. It's not as overly indulgent as the Promised Neverland and being like, oh, look at all the cute kids. We're waking up. We're eating dinner. We're loving life. And then one of them fucking dies. It's a little bit like, oh, they're a little older. They're not that cute. They're doing thingies. But yeah, it's probably what the twist is going to be. But yeah, I got through this chapter real quick and I was like, oh, it's over. What the fuck am I going to talk about when we get to this in the fucking stream? But, it's possible that this is just the future, huh? That's probably what it is. I don't know. All will be clarified when we read more of Heavenly Delusion 1, as in Volume 1. I don't know if I have much more to say about all Heavenly Delusion here. I think this girl is a guy trapped in a girl's body, but not in a trans way, in an actual body swap way. I think that's what that YouTube video told me one time. Anyway, we got Zombie 100 here, the coolest anime and manga to ever exist. Now, don't be deceived. This girl's boobs are not big enough to be the girl from the chapter like I assumed the whole way through and then was shocked when she was dead at the end. That was probably the second biggest. There she is, I think. That was probably the second biggest emotional reaction from me because the girl was dead and I was like, oh, I want to see him kiss this girl. But she was already fucking dead and her boobs were out and stuff. So we probably got to avoid that panel at the end. So guys, he's like overworked and there's zombies and stuff and everything's miserable. I think this was like the flow of this chapter was really good. I think that was continuously like interesting things and stuff. And it keeps you engaged the whole time. You definitely relate to him a lot. Maybe in a similar way to how you relate to Denji in his really shitty situation. Though not as effective or as clever as the Denji situation. Though feeling bad for Denji is not really the reason why Chainsaw Man Chapter 1 is so good. It is a part of it, and it's like that natural, oh, you want to root for him at the end. But there's so much more to that makes it interesting. This one's kind of just got that until the end, and it is very effective in it, so that's not a thing. I guess everything is not as good as Chainsaw Man. That's basically what I spent most of my time saying, huh, chat? But anyway, she's nice, but she's banging the boss because she's probably being, in modernity chat, we call this sex trafficking. We've seen those Vince McMahon papers. She's getting shit on in there. It's not cool. But anyway, him hitting the thingy and then saying, sorry, ma'am, that was funny. That might have been the one where I laughed out loud. But anyway, then a zombie apocalypse happens, and the joke is that he's not really concerned about dying in a zombie apocalypse, or he's not all mad like in most zombie apocalypse shows where like, no, there's a zombie apocalypse happening, what am I gonna do? He's like, oh my god, I don't have to go to work. This is fantastic. And then he's trying to start to think about things he wants to do at work. But the first thing he wants to do, and the only thing that's really been set up through this whole episode, is his potential relationship with the big titty office girl. And we're like, oh. And so he's like, oh, I'm just going to go and see her. That's the first thing I want to do with my new independence is go and find her and make sure she's safe. So he goes to find her and you're like, oh, and then they're going to run away and that's going to be like the through line for the series, right? They're going to hang out and their relationship will blossom, etc., etc. They'll run into bandits or something next episode. They'll kidnap her and then he'll have to go and save her and he'll meet another character along the way and it's going to be a little kid or something and then they'll join the party and then we're, you know, how the group just generally expands for a few episodes. Then we run into somebody and we find out the machination. You know how these fucking stories go. But no, the bitch is fucking dead, chat. And he's very thankful. At least I got to see her tits. Now, this was the biggest feminist eye roll of this manga here. That was not good. He was very endearing until this point. Now, when the normies are reacting to this anime, they're going to look through the episode and be like, this is great. And he's going to see that. And the girls are going to turn to each other and frown and be like, what was that? And then they'll giggle and the rest of it, you know. That's what you just got to think about when you're reading manga. Big hot take and unexpected take coming straight from yours truly. This one was the worst. Oh my god, Sile Pill didn't like Zombie 100. Unbelievable. So it is kind of interesting that they've closed off all the potential narrative threads they could have created in the first chapter and have used it entirely. Oh, there she is. You didn't see that, chat. And they used it entirely just for characterization for him, which is kind of cute. I kind of respect that they did it and they killed off that character and that one thing we were kind of invested in. Now, obviously, we're going to meet this girl and she's going to be more normal, so we're going to get to her and she'll be the girlfriend. He's got a crown on, chat. What's with that? So I'm interested to meet this girl and see if she's better. The other one didn't really have much of a personality. She was just nice. Also, I was interested in the regressive Japanese sexual theming that was going to be put across. Were we really going to let the main character get with the girl that was getting passed around the office? Because I don't get the feeling that the authors/artists here had the feeling that she was actually being assaulted in these scenes or being coerced in some way by her bosses, and that maybe she was just she's the office slut now, so she's got to die at the end, and we're going to find a good virgin girl for the main character to get with next time. That's probably the mindset going into that, rather than, oh, this is actually a relationship that we could have been into, but now we've just killed it off Lamau. How subversive. This girl, I guarantee, was not fucking her boss, right? Therefore, we're allowed to get with her as the main character. Anyways. Zombie 100 was pretty cool, bro. I like him. Yeah, true, that was cool. Yeah, I just make so many good points. So yeah, Zombie 100 is also like, what the fuck is the point of this manga gonna be? Is there an overarching evil bad guy? I don't know. Or are we just doing 100 things this bloke wants to do? And it's more casual, slice of lifey. Don't you hate it when people say slice of lifey like that? You want to kill them? Don't kill me, chat. But yeah, in terms of all of them, I don't really know what any. It's not like they had the Hokage speech at the beginning of any of these, and we got like the through line for what the whole series is going to be about, or the Pirate King, or the "I'm gonna be the very best like no one ever was" moment, or Griffith. Wait, that's only in the anime. But yeah. So it's kind of the biggest pushing, propelling force behind me wanting to continue any of them is like, what the fuck are these things actually about? It's kind of a tease. Be back next time to see what these series are actually going to be about, which is exciting. Now, CeeLo Pilled, I think, asked at the beginning, what's the point of doing this? Are we just going to choose the best one and then continue that one? I feel like I want to read them all. These two only have 64 chapters out each, which either means they both started at the same point, or one of them started a few months earlier and the other one took a little bit of a break. That's kind of lame. But if they both started the same month, that's kind of cool. It was destined for us to choose them here today. 64 chapters, we can read those and catch up easy. Dandadan or something has like 130 or something. I can't remember the exact amount. I can't be expected to remember these things. Now, I can be expected to check these things sometimes. 145, that's 1,000,000. And these two do have... Did I just make it up, chat? Or do they actually only have 64? 62? The other one better have 62 too, or the point I just made is going to be completely vol. Oh my god, it's 64. They don't have the same, chat. Everybody laugh. Point and laugh at Streamer Man. You got it wrong. So which one was your favorite? I don't know. I guess Zombie 100, but that could be recency bias, huh? Because I was like, Dandadan. I think when I first finished them, I was like, oh yeah, Dandadan's still the best one. But now that it's sat with me for a little bit, Zombie 100 might be the best one. But Heavenly Delusion didn't really get a fair shake, you know? It was just like a weird little setup chapter. Are these manga popular? Yeah, I feel like these are three of the more popular manga right now, right? These two have animes, which makes them even more popular. And I think both of their animes are very popular. And Dandadan's going to get an anime soon and explode in popularity. So I think these are all three popular properties. But yeah, we'll see. I don't know how quickly I'm going to read the next chapters of any of them. I could do the thing where I'm like, I'm going to read one chapter of each of them every day until we catch up. But that's never going to happen. I'm kind of curious, should we do this for the fucking anime one? That's an hour, though. Now, it probably took me about an hour. No, that's the wrong Excel spreadsheet, you fucking moron. Probably took me more than an hour to read all three chapters in the little breaks I was taking in between everything. So I'm being a little bitch when I'm like, an hour of watching anime. I don't want to do that. Also, all three of these, not popular at all. Now, they're kind of popular on internet YouTube spaces, but I don't think it's going to get a lot of clicks. Esclaflone obviously being the least popular out of all of them, then probably Gungrave. People speak of Legend of Galactic Heroes a lot. I don't know if they speak about it too much. Maybe we should spend the rest of stream and we'll end the YouTube video here and haha, you gotta go into the VODs channel or go to the YouTube or go to the Twitch VOD space to see the rest of it. Maybe we will select 3 newish anime and then do a similar thing. I don't know. We'll speculate about the 3 we would choose at least before we commit to doing them. But anyway, I don't know how long we'll be streaming. I don't know how long this cutout YouTube video will be. We didn't have too much to say, not too many in-depth thoughts. I didn't have any revolutionary moments reading any 3 of these or any revolutionary developments in analysis to share about any 3 of these. So I think that's where we're going to leave it. Really, an hour. I read them all in like 20 minutes. Maybe I need to slow down. No, I'm a very slow reader, and also I was getting distracted and doing other things, etc., etc. YouTube comment what anime or manga we should do for chapter 1 next. God, Leopold, you're better than me at this stuff. That's a good idea. What are if you're a manga reader, secondary ENT viewer, what are the more popular mangas at the moment that we should have done instead of these ones? Let us know that too. Because I think it's pretty easy to keep up with which anime is popular and shit, or currently popular, but manga, because they all don't start at the same time and they're all like obviously those like Jujutsu Kaisen, don't copy that or I'll fucking kill you, you know what I'm saying? I don't say Demon Slayer, even though Demon Slayer's been over for like 3 years or some shit. But yeah, I guess let me know. Alright, YouTube assholes, support links in the description below. Thanks.